All right, so I put together this little map analyzer program, and there'll be an assignment for you to practice if statements, but I thought I'd do the first couple levels just to get you started. So Start Code again is on GitHub. I've already downloaded it and extracted it. So I'm going to open with code. Alrighty. So there's a bunch of stuff in here. There's 2 JavaScript files. Don't worry about the script.js. That's the code that I did to make this program. All you need is the solutions.js. Okay. And the key things to highlight in here is there's 2 global variables called row and column. You'll be testing those variables to see where we are on the map. And then there's a level 1 solution function, a level 2 solution function, level 3, all the way down to level 14, 14 levels. I'll try to do the first 3 in this video for you. Okay. This current tile, well, maybe we should see what this looks like first before we get carried away with the code here. Sorry, opened on the wrong page. There we go. So here's the different levels, right? Level 1 starts off with, as you move the mouse, it updates the global row and column variables, right? So rows run this way. So row 3, row 4, row 5, row 6, etc. Here are our columns, column 2, column 3, column 4, column 5, etc. Okay, so it's keeping track of where we are here on this map, right? These rows and columns. And what I want to do is where this these dashes are, I want to print out either, oh, am I on sand or am I on water? Or is it a tree or hills? Different levels have different maps. So each level will need its own if statement to test, hey, if my rows are less than or equal to 2, I'm going to be in here, right? So that's kind of what we want to do. So as I said, all you need to know is the row and column variables are what we're going to test in our if statements. The level 1, level 2, level 3 solutions are where we should put our code. For each level, I also put whether you should do a binary or a chained, and that just depends on how many different types of tiles there are. Right? If there's only 2 tiles, you need binary. If there's more than 2, you need chained. And then the current tile is the span or paragraph or whatever this is that has the dashes in it. And we're going to change its inner HTML to be whatever we want it to be. So this code is there for you just to, this will control that output text. Okay, so let's look at level 1. Level 1, there's either sand or water. So there's 2 possibilities. So I'm going to do a binary. I'm actually going to start. Let's just rock this. I'm going to go, if something is true, do this, else do this. That's my binary statement. Okay, my binary structure. Now, what do I want to test? Well, in this case, I think the column, right? I've got a vertical division here. If my column is less than or equal to 4, I'm going to be in the sand. Otherwise, I'll be in the water. Or you could do if column is greater than or equal to 5, I'm in the water, else I'm in the sand. Doesn't matter. Let's do less than or equal to 4. So if column is less than or equal to 4, then I'm going to cut that and paste it into here. And I want to set the inner HTML to say sand. Else, we'll copy that, I must be in the water, right? If this is true, column is less than or equal to 4, I'm in the sand, otherwise I'm in the water. And that's my level 1 solution. And this function will get called whenever I move the mouse when I'm on level 1. So you can see sand, sand, sand. I'm in the sand, moment of truth, water. Awesome. Okay, so you can test your solutions here by just moving on the level and testing the different locations. Okay, let's try level 2. Aha. Okay, level 2 has 3 possibilities, hills, sand, or water. So that's going to be a chained solution statement, as it says here. And I'm going to write that right away. If something is true, do this. Else, if something else is true, do this. Else, do this. Right, 3 possibilities, here, here, or here. And let's cut that, and let's paste it into each of these spots. Okay, now we got to put in, now there's error messages and angry red stuff because we have to put in actual Boolean expressions in here. But let's look at this. So level 2, thinking I'm just going to start from the left side and just say, hey, if my column is less than or equal to 2, I'm going to be in here. Okay. If column is less than or equal to 2, I'm going to be in, oh, I forgot, was it hills? I think it was hills. Okay, Level 2, yeah, that's Hills. And it's not working yet because I still have an error, right? If I were to open my console, I bet you there's, yep, unexpected syntax error. Okay, so I need to fill in the other one. So if column is less or equal to 2, I'm Hills. Else, I'm going to check if I'm less or equal to 7. Now, a lot of people think they need to also check if they're greater than or equal to 3, right? Am I greater than or equal to 3? And am I less or equal to 7? You actually don't need to do that because we're doing a chain selection statement. I know that I'm not going to get to this if statement unless this is false. Column is less or equal to 2. So I know that column less or equal to 2 is false, so I know that column must be 3 or higher. So I don't need to check that. It's redundant. It's inefficient. All I need to check is if column is less or equal to 7. And if it is, I know that I'm in the sand, and all that's left is the else, which is the water. Right? Hills, sand, and water. Okay, so that works nicely. Anyway, what I was talking about was some people also do the, hey, if column is greater than or equal to 3 and a column is less than or equal to 7. This is great to check if it's within a boundary, I agree, but it's not necessary because we know that this is false. In a chain selection statement, we only get here if this is false. So anyway, just complicate your code, might as well keep it nice and clean and simple. Okay, one more level I'll do for you. Oops, reset on me. Okay, so this level is very similar to this one. Actually, almost identical. All we changed was this to Hills, the water to Hills. So a tempting thing is to just, okay, copy and paste, get rid of that one, and all I need to do is change this to Hills. And this will work wonderfully. Hills, sand, Hills. Right? We knew it would work because it worked on the last level. Beautiful. What I'm going to say, though, is that when you're programming, just to get something to work isn't necessarily, it's a good thing, but you also want to be careful about efficiency. Now, this is not a huge issue. It works fine. It doesn't slow the program down, but it's good to get into the habit of being efficient. And the reason this isn't efficient is because we've got the same line of code twice in 2 different locations. Imagine if we had a complicated task here, like multiple lines of code that we repeated, that would be quite inefficient. So it's better to do a binary if statement here because there's only 2 possibilities, either hills or sand. So what I need to do is, I could do what we just talked about in that last one, checking between, right? If I'm between 3 and 7, I know it's going to be sand. If I'm not between 3 and 7, it must be hills. So let's get rid of this. We were supposed to use a binary. So let's get rid of all of it. If column is greater than or equal to 3 and column is less or equal to 7, right? If I am between these values, if it's greater than this and less than this, I'm between these values, then I know I'm in the sand. So let's just take this line, paste it. Else, I must be in the, I forgot what it was, hills, right? Level 3. So sand, right? I'm between 3 and 7. Column is greater than or equal to 3 or less or equal to 7. It's sand. But if I go here, hills, hills. Okay, and that's more efficient because I have just the 2 different blocks of code happening once, right? There's no repetition. I don't have the hills and then hills again. Just for fun, just to practice our Boolean expressions, there's often more than one way to solve problems. Instead of checking for whether I'm in this middle strip, I could check if I was on the outsides. So if column is less than or equal to 2, or, right here, to check in between, we did and. Here I would check, am I less than this, or am I greater than this? So if we wanted to switch this, we could do a less or equal to 2, or column is greater than or equal to 8. And then we got to flip these, right? So if I'm on the edges, it's going to be hills. Oops. Otherwise, it'll be sand. And this, there's no difference in this one in terms of efficiency. It still works the same. You're still doing a binary, so you're not repeating any code. Just works well. Just a preference, how you think of it. Do you want to check am I on the outside, else I'm in the middle, or do you want to check am I in the middle, otherwise I'm on the outside? Either way works. Okay, so that is that. That's the first 3 levels for you. You can continue on. Level 4 should be binary, chained, binary, etc. And I start you off easy. Level 4, 5, and 6 are almost identical to 1, 2, and 3, but just horizontal instead of vertical. Then we get just the one lonely square here. We get some rows and columns there. We get a little thing in the corner. Woo, we got 4 different things here. 4 different things here in the quadrants. Oh, it's 2 binary, but in 2 different locations. You'll probably need to check am I in here or in here. And then, oh, nice little glade inside of the forest, the trees there. And then a couple of different things like this. Okay, so all those levels, this is great practice for if statements, your Boolean expressions, your binary, your chained. I'm going to quiz you on this paper and pencil quiz on if statements, and I will definitely, I'll make a couple new levels and screenshot them and print them out for you, and I expect you to be able to write the if statements that would solve at that level. Okay, so it's a great way to assess you on if statements. All right, I hope that made sense. Take care, all the best on the rest of the levels. Ask me for help if you need it, and we'll see you in the next video.